What's up guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be installing the brand new NextGen K&N Air Intake system on a 3rd gen Tacoma. And this kit is a little bit different than what they offer previously or currently still is this guy right here. So this is an oversized intake filter. What a normal, kind of normal size what looks like is this right here. So you can see here, it's a lot bigger than kind of the standard size. So there are other filters that are smaller depending on the vehicle, but this is going to allow a much more air to be forced into the engine and hoping to generate more power. So we have a whole separate video that we're actually currently doing, taking this truck behind me here to the dyno and proving that this produces more power for the truck. Also, it's a whole new kind of box that is offered with it and a whole new intake tube as well. And kind of the function of this is to allow more air, smoother air into the throttle body itself, so that way you can produce more power for your truck. This is kind of everything that comes in the kit here. This is also new as well. They give you these 2 rings here. I don't know if these are optional or not, but we got them here. They are going to go on the filter itself just to add a little bit of aesthetic to the whole kit. But let's go ahead and get started. So first off, we'll get the hood popped up here. This is your factory airbox right over here. First thing you want to do is just unclamp it. You can see the amount of dust that is collected in the engine bay here. And this truck doesn't really see a lot of off-road, and you can just see it's just caked on there pretty good. Now the cool thing with the K&N filter is that it is washable, so that way you will never ever have to buy another air filter again, whether you get that from Toyota or anywhere else. But that one is fully washable. You wash it just with regular water, and then you oil it up with the K&N oil that you can get with the kit as well. Now there's a lot of misconceptions out there with using oiled filters. The oil is not going to damage or harm your engine at all. The only thing that could happen is if you do over oil it, it can just gunk up on your filter, or not your filter, your mass airflow sensor. And with that there, you can easily just take it out and clean it if you accidentally over oil it. But really, that's not really a big issue. And it's been proven with K&N and other companies out there, it doesn't really damage anything for the engine. Now, we'll get this pulled off here. We're gonna get a 10 millimeter right there. We're gonna take basically this whole part out right here. Now we're gonna pull off the engine cover here, just lift straight up. It pivots on that rod that's back there. You can just pull it off, set it off to the side. Now we are gonna pull this entire tube off here, so there is a single bolt head there that will pull off. There's also this air line right over here. You can squeeze it with your fingers or pliers if you need to, and then that will slide off as well. Grab your 10 millimeter, set that on there, unscrew that off just a little bit, enough for you to wiggle it off away from the throttle body, just like so. And then what you saw me do there earlier is I just pulled the connector from the mass airflow sensor out. So right next to the connector of the mass airflow sensor, there's going to be this clip here. With a flathead, you can just pry it open, up, and it'll come off. And now we can lift this up, just like so. Now there is gonna be a harness that's on here. So with a set of pliers, just squeeze in there. Needle nose pliers will work the best. Push that out of there. Then you can go ahead and move the entire piece out of the way. Now the last part we need to remove is going to be the bottom side of the air intake box. There's going to be 3 12 millimeter bolts that we will need to take out. 2 of them are on the inside. The last one is going to be right behind it. Once those are loose, you can pull those off, and then this will come out completely. Now we are ready for the K&N air box here. We're going to bring it over, set it right in there. All the holes will line up, and then you will put the 3 bolts you pulled out back in there. So inside the K&N box, there's going to be 3 holes that will line up with the box or with the vehicle. So just go ahead and get those 3 started. The one that we pulled out in the back won't be going back in there, but there will be 3 total, so you can use the 3 bolts that you pulled out. Once you have those started, go ahead and tighten them all the way down. Next up, we have this bag here that includes the 2 colored stripes. Now, you don't have to install these if you don't want to, but we are, because we like the color. They kind of match the Toyota orange, yellow, and red color. So they just snap in there in these grooves. So the orange will go on top, the red will go on the bottom. We have it this way because this is how the cone will be inside the vehicle. Now we're going to install this. We're just going to slide this in here, just like that. There you go. It'll flush up with the box just like that, and then you can rotate it however you'd like, and then we can have the stripes right on top there. Next up, we will need the actual intake tube here, and we'll need the gasket, the mass airflow sensor adapter, and the barb fitting that is provided with it. We're going to install the barb fitting first. We're just going to thread this in here. This is an NPT fitting, so it will get tight because the threads are actually tapered. Once it's tight by hand, we're going to turn it 1 full rotation. So this barb fitting is a 21 millimeter, so just grab an open end wrench. So wherever you start, just make sure you do 1 full turn. So about right there, okay? It will be tight, but like I said, it's tapered, so we are good to go with that. Next up, we're going to grab our mass airflow sensor gasket. Peel that off. So there's 2 slots here on the side, bigger slots, to accommodate for the threaded inserts that are in there. Just line it up so that way both holes are completely exposed, and then push it down. Then grab your K&N mass airflow sensor adapter. Make sure the logo is close to the barb fitting. So we're going to line that up there. And then the provided hardware here, put a washer on that. We're going to thread that in there. Get it started by hand. And then with a 4 millimeter hex head, put that on there. We're going to snug that down. Don't go crazy with it because it is going into plastic. And all you're really looking for is just a little bit of squish on the gasket there. So once you see a little bit of squish, you are good to let off. Now we will grab the mass airflow sensor out of the factory housing here. So if you haven't taken any of these off like we did, you can just go in there. They're just Phillips heads. I'm going to loosen that up all the way. We won't use those screws that are coming out of there, so you can toss those. Here we go. Pull that out. Now the mass airflow sensor does have a gasket on there as well. Now with this thing, we are pretty much done with it. So if you want to keep it, you can keep it, or you can toss it. So our O-ring on the mass airflow sensor has a little bit of junk on there, so I'm just going to wipe that clean. So this is the sensor right there. So if you do over oil your filter, you just grab a little mass airflow sensor cleaner from any auto parts store locally. Just spray this off and you'll be good to go. But I'm going to stick this in here. The connector side is going to be towards you, so kind of like this here. It will only go in one way, I believe. Let's see if it'll go in the other way. It won't. So one way, and then K&N provides you with new hardware for those. So we'll get those started. And then these here are a 3 millimeter hex head. So that's what we got right here. Same thing, these are going into plastic, so don't go crazy with it. So once it gets a little bit tight, I always like to do like a little one finger push on these little screws here. That way I'm not overdoing it. There we go. Next up, we have these two clamps that are in the Ziploc bags. Pull those out. You also need the hose clamp here, or the hose coupler here. I'm going to slide that on. Actually, we need one of the clamps to be on the inside there. So we're going to feed it on there like that, and then we're going to move it to the truck. Okay, so now, before we put this in here, I want to make sure that these are facing the same way here. So that way they're easy to reach when we actually have it in here. And then we will grab our big clamp here. We're going to just slide this onto here. We're going to feed the big end into the filter first. Wiggle it in there. And then on this side here, we'll slide this onto the throttle body here. Same thing, wiggle it around until it's fully on all the way to the edge of the throttle body there. And then we'll turn it like so. So that way we can just put a socket right on there. So that way it's easy to clamp. So with these here, we don't want to over tighten them. So I'm just going to use my drill just to get it close. And then I will use my small ratchet to tighten that fully when we are all set and done. Do the same for the back one here, or the driver's side one. There we go. Lastly, for the big clamp, we're going to do the same thing, just slow with your driver. And then I just want to make sure that it's evenly spaced before I tighten it down fully with the ratchet. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and just tighten it with a small ratchet, or you can use a flat head as well. This one had a lot of slack left. That's good. And then we're going to connect our crankcase vent here on the barb fitting. And then we're going to bring that spring clamp back there. Then lastly, grab our mass airflow sensor connector, plug that in, and then we will tuck this guy down here, and we're all done. So this install was extremely easy and everything fit great, everything went in smooth. Now, I really like what they did with the colors on top too. That's a nice touch to it, especially because it's visible when you open the engine bay. And the oversized filter is gonna allow so much more air to be forced in here. So we are going to take this truck now over to the dyno. So if you want to take a look at that video, we'll have that video on the top right corner, so you can go see that video as well. Once it's uploaded, I'm not sure which video is going to be uploaded first, but once you see that video, hopefully you guys are going to want to get a kit for your truck as well. But we'll have a link to this product down in the description if you guys want to check it out. And if you're not subscribed to our channel already, do so. Let us know what you guys want to see. We'll see you guys next time.